Hey guys, welcome to week 11 of the NFL. Last week, week 10, we had a really good week. Perfect 3-0, improve our season record now to 22-14. A week that we really didn't need after the last couple of weeks have been, a little bit rough. Hopefully you guys were on those same games. We had the Lions +9. That line did drop, I think +5.5 or something like that at game time when Ben was ruled out. The Lions ended up tying that game. Second game was a tough one. New Orleans and Tennessee. I had the Saints at +3.5. They were able to pull it out. A little late backdoor cover, but I mean, if you watch that game, which I didn't watch any of that game, but saw the highlights. The Saints should have won that game. I mean, there was a very questionable roughing the passer penalty in that game that really did hurt New Orleans. Tennessee really, I don't know. I think they were very fortunate to win that football game. So the Saints, big win on their part to rally and just get the cover. Not getting the win, but a game that they really should have won. In the last game, Philadelphia and Denver. On Philadelphia, +3.5. I said they could win outright, and they laid the hammer on Denver. Denver was a public side last week after they beat Dallas the week before. Tennessee was obviously a public side last week, what they've been able to do the last 5 weeks. We're going to be on the opposite side of the public more often than not. Remember, guys, public picks usually short-term memories with the public. What they see 1 week, they will overreact most of the time and bet that team the next week. And then they'll hop the fence and go on another team the next week, depending on what they did the previous week. We saw that with people taking Denver. We saw that with people taking Tennessee. We'll see that this week. I'm sure people will be betting Philadelphia over New Orleans because Philadelphia looked so good last week. New Orleans looked good in defeat, but the line shows that the Eagles are favored. So anyway, you'll see that a lot with the public kind of switching back and forth. Last week there was 3 games I loved. This week there's a lot of games I like, not necessarily a lot of games I love. So maybe I'll go through a few extra games just to let you know how I feel about them. But I got 4 plays this week for you guys. So we're going to keep this rolling into week 11, guys. Like, subscribe, comment on the video. Some games I'm not betting. Full disclosure, I'm not on these games. But I was looking at these games. And for one reason or another, I got off of them. Baltimore in Chicago. Baltimore's a 6-point favorite. I think the Ravens are very public this week, but I tend to agree with the public in this one. I don't mind the Ravens -6. I'm a little hesitant in this game because Lamar is once again questionable. I feel like this guy is questionable every week. Non-COVID related illness. He's traveling with the team, but if he doesn't play, obviously, I can't pick Baltimore. So I got off of that game. And just a little, I don't typically like laying close to a touchdown on the road. And the Ravens have been a little bit too up and down for me. Another one, San Francisco and Jacksonville. Okay, now this is a classic, what I was just talking about previously. San Francisco was a sharp side last week. Everyone was on the Rams. They were very public. 49ers obviously look great. And now they're a 7-point favorite on the road in Jacksonville. And San Francisco is one of the most public plays this week because of how good they looked, because they're playing Jacksonville. And be careful with this game, right? The Niners should be laying 7 points on the road to nobody. That includes the Jacksonville Jaguars. This line, I think, opened at 5.5. And it was one of those spots where if you liked the Rams on Monday Night Football, then you probably should have been on the, let me think here, Jacksonville. If you like the Rams on Monday Night Football, you should have been on San Francisco, because this line probably would have dropped to about a field goal. If you like San Fran on Monday Night Football last week, you probably want to be on Jacksonville this week because now this line has shot up to 7. But again, San Francisco should not be a 7-point favorite. But people are going to be on San Francisco. So if I was to look at this game, I would take Jacksonville. I'm trying to think of any other ones off the top of my head that I was looking towards this week. Cincinnati was another one. I was really looking at taking the Bengals over the Raiders. I don't know. I like them, but it wasn't a very strong. It was more of a lean to Cincinnati than anything. I think that was pretty much the ones that I didn't bet, but I was looking at: Baltimore, Cincinnati, Indianapolis was another one at plus 7.5. By just, not going to get to the window with those games. So the 4 I am getting to the window with, guys, here. Game number 1, Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland is an 11-point favorite. I was on Detroit last week, and I will be against them this week. They did what we needed them to do last week. The Browns are minus 11. And listen, the Browns 1 week look very, very good. Looks like they can make a deep playoff run, and the next week they don't look like they can even make the playoffs. I don't even know the Browns. I don't even know what they did last week, to be honest with you. I don't know. I haven't been following the Browns too closely this season. I don't think I've been on one of their games. But minus 11, yeah, I'm taking the Browns. Jared Goff, I don't think is going to play. So I think Boyle is the backup. Tyler Boyle, something like that. First career start. I usually like the backup in the first game. Not in this spot. The Lions have nothing to offer on offense. He's going to struggle. This is not a defense you want to go up against in your first career start. Yeah, the Browns have looked, they struggled at times this year. But this front with Clowney and Garrett, they're going to, I think, have a field day with the Lions. I'm not sure how the Lions get more than 13 to 17 points in this game. I think Cleveland wins like a 31-10, 31-13 type of game. Give me the Browns, minus 11. Baker Mayfield, let's get it going, man. What a disaster Cleveland is right now. But we're going to lay the wood with these guys. Game number 2, a big favorite again. Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee is an 11-point favorite. I'm going to go with the dog in this game. I've been on Houston once before as a massive dog. I think they were 18.5-point dog to Arizona, and they scored 5 points, and they lost. Going right back to the well with these idiots. Plus 11 Houston. Tennessee again, I'm sure it'll be very public. They've won, 6 games in a row. They're beating quality opponents, all this stuff. And next week, Coach Vrabel will be circling that game, going up against Belichick and the Patriots. This is a game I think Tennessee's going to have a hard time to get up for, even though it's a division game, and really stay focused for 60 minutes. Houston coming off a bye week. Tyrod Taylor, I think, just more of a game manager. Hopefully doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Houston plus 11. Why not, right? Let's take the Houston Texans. I think Tennessee is just, again, I'm going to keep fading the Titans here, right? I would like Houston way more in this spot if Tennessee had covered last week, although I'm happy they didn't. But I think Houston plus 11, I think we're going to do okay in this spot here. It's not going to be a comfortable game, but I'm going to keep fading the Titans here as the public gets on them. Third game, Green Bay at Minnesota. Green Bay is a 2-point favorite, massive NFC North game. Bigger game, obviously, for the Minnesota Vikings, trying to get back to 500, trying to get back into the playoff hunt. Minnesota, what a tough season. 4-5. This team, after 9 games, could be they could have a few more wins. Every game is so tight. They lost so many tight games. And I think I saw a stat somewhere that Minnesota is the only team in the league, if I'm not mistaken, to lead by some point in the game by at least a touchdown. So they're leading in every game, and they just happen to fall short by a few points here and there. The Vikings, man, they're playing tough. Big road win for them last week. Green Bay, 17-0 win last week against Seattle. But Minnesota, I think, in this game at +2. I'm obviously taking the Vikings to win this football game. No Aaron Jones this week for Green Bay. No Lazard for the Packers. No Aaron Jones for the Packers. The Vikings are a healthier team here. Kirk Cousins is not playing a primetime game. It's a 1 o'clock game. Hopefully that moron can keep it together. This offense will be going up against, I'll give the Green Bay defense some credit. A little bit of they played well this season. But I think when push comes to shove here, the Vikings will be able to move the football and score some points against Green Bay. Third game, Arizona and Seattle. Arizona's a 2.5-point favorite. This game, man, Seattle looked bad last week in Russell Wilson's return. I'm going with Seattle plus 2.5. I think this is a tough one. Hopkins isn't playing. Seattle doesn't have a good defense, obviously, but without Hopkins and Kyler Murray is questionable for the game. He's not 100%. I think just going back home, Russell Wilson back at home, this team, I think, just wins the game. I think Arizona is going to limp their way into, I think they have a bye week next week, and that's just the way it's going to be. Give me the Seahawks, man, +2.5. Minnesota -2. Houston, +11. Plug your nose, man. And the Browns, I just hope they put the wax in on the Detroit Lions, -11. Those are my 4 picks, guys. Like, subscribe, comment on the video. Good luck in Week 11.